Chapter 7. When I would have healed Israel, then the iniquity of Ephraim was discovered, and the wickedness of Samaria. For they commit falsehood, and the thief cometh in, and the troop of robbers spoileth without. And they consider not in their hearts that I remember all their wickedness. Now their own doings how beset them about, they are before my face. They make the king glad with their wickedness, and the princes with their lies. They are all adulterers, as and when heated by the baker, who ceaseth from raising after he hath kneaded the dough, till it be leavened. In the day of our king, the princes how made him sick with bottles of wine, he stretched out his hand with scorners. For they how made ready their heart like and when, whilst they lie in wait. Their baker sleepeth all the night, in the morning it burneth as a flaming fire. They are all hot as and when, and how adored their judges. All their kings are fallen, there is none among them that killeth unto me. Ephraim, he hath mixed himself among the people, Ephraim is a cake not turned. Strangers how adored his strength, and he knoweth it not. Yea, grey hairs are here and there upon him, yet he knoweth not. And the pride of Israel testifieth to his face, and they do not return to the Lord their God, nor seek him for all this.
Ephraim also is like a silly doe without heart. They call to Egypt, they go to Assyria. When they shall go, I will spread my net on them. I will bring them down as the fools of the Hoan. I will chastise them as their congregation hath heard. Woe unto them, for they how fled from me. Destruction unto them, because they how transgressed against me. Though I how redeemed them, yet they how spoken lies against me. And they how not cried unto me with their heart. When they howled on their beds, they assemble themselves for corn and wine, and they rebel against me. Though I how bound, and strengthen their arms, yet do they imagine mischief against me. They return, but not to the Most High. They are like a deceitful bow. Their princes shall fall by the sword, for the rage of their tongue. This shall be their derision in the land of Egypt.
Chapter 8. Set the trumpet to thy mouth. He shall come as an eagle against the house of the Lord, because they how transgressed my covenant, and trespassed against my law. Israel shall cry unto me, My God, we know thee. Israel hath cast off the thing that is good. The enemy shall pursue him. They how set VP kings, but not by me. They how made princes, and I knew it not. Of their silver and their gold how they made them idols, that they may be cut off.
Thy calf, O Samaria, hath cast thee off. Mine anger is kindled against them. How long will it be ere they attain to innocency? For from Israel was it also, the workman made it, therefore it is not God. But the calf of Samaria shall be broken in pieces. For they how sound the wind, and they shall reap the whirlwind. It hath no stalk. The bud shall yield no meal, if so be it yield. The strangers shall swallow it VP. Israel is swallowed VP. Now shall they be among the Gentiles, as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. For they are gone VP to Assyria. A wildest alone by himself. Ephraim hath hired lures. Yea, though they how hired among the nations, now will I gather them, and they shall sorrow a little for the burden of the king of princes. Because Ephraim hath made many altars to sin, altars shall be unto him to sin. I how written to him the great things of my law, but they were counted as a strange thing. They sacrifice flesh for the sacrifices of mine offerings, and eat it, but the Lord accepteth them not. Now will he remember their iniquity, and visit their sins. They shall return to Egypt. For Israel hath forgotten his Maker, and buildeth temples, and Judah hath multiplied fenced cities. But I will send a fire upon his cities, and it shall dure the palaces thereof.
Chapter 9. Rejoice not, O Israel, for I as other people. For thou hast gone a whoring from thy God, thou hast lewd a reward upon your corn floor. The floor and the winepress shall not feed them, and the new wine shall fail in her. They shall not dwell in the Lord's land, but Ephraim shall return to Egypt, and they shall eat clean things in Assyria. They shall not offer wine offerings to the Lord, neither shall they be pleasing unto him. Their sacrifices shall unto them as the bread of mourners. All that eat thereof shall be polluted. For their bread for their selves shall not come into the house of the Lord. What will ye do in the solemn day, and in the day of the feast of the Lord? For lo, they are gone, because of destruction. Egypt shall gather them weeping, Memphis shall bury them. The pleasant places for their cellar, nettles shall possess them. Thorns shall be in their tabernacles. The days of visitation are come, the days of recompense are come. Israel shall know it. The prophet is a fool, the spiritual man is mad, for the multitude of thine iniquity and the great hatred. The watchman of Ephraim was with my God, but the prophet is a snare of a fowler in all his ways, and hatred in the house of his God. They how deeply corrupted themselves as in the days of Gibeah. Therefore he will remember their iniquity, he will visit their sins. I found Israel like grapes in the wilderness. I saw your fathers as the first ripe in the fig tree at her first time. But they went to Baal-peor, and separated themselves unto that shame, and their abominations were according as they lewd. As for Ephraim, their glory shall flee away like a bird, from the birth and from the womb, and from the conception. Though they bring VP their children, yet will I berow them that there shall not be a man left. Yea, woe also to them when I depart from them. Ephraim, as I saw Tyrus, is planted in a pleasant place, but Ephraim shall bring forth his children to the murderer. Guide them, O Lord, what wilt thou do? Do them a miscarrying womb, and dry breasts. All their wickedness is in Gilgal, for there I hated them. For the wickedness of their doings I will drew them out of mine house, I will lue them no more. All their princes are rualters. Ephraim is smitten, their root is dried VP, they shall bear no fruit. Yea, though they bring forth, yet will I slay you in the beloved fruit of their womb. My God will cast them away, because they did not hearken unto him, and they shall wanderers among the nations.
Chapter 10. Israel is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself, according to the multitude of his fruit. He hath increased the altars, according to the goodness of his land. They how made goodly images. Their heart is divided. Now shall they be found faulty. He shall break down their altars. He shall spoil their images. For now they shall say, We have no king, because we feared not the Lord. What then should a king do to verses? They have spoken words, swearing falsely and making a covenant. Thus judgment springeth VP as hemlock in the furrows of the field. The inhabitants of Samaria shall fear, because of the calus of Bethan. For the people thereof shall mourn o'er it, and the priests thereof that rejoiced on it, for the glory thereof, because it is departed from it. It shall be also carried unto Assyria for a present to King Arab. Ephraim shall receive shame, and Israel shall be ashamed of his own counsel. As for Samaria, her king is cut off as the foam on the water. The high places also of Aon, the sin of Israel, shall be destroyed. The thorn and the thistle shall come VP on their altars, and they shall say to the mountains, Cur verses, and to the hillies, Fall on verses. O Israel, thou hast sinned from the days of Gibeah. There they stood. The battle in Gibeah against the children of iniquity did not overtake them. It is in my desire that I should chastise them, and the people shall be gathered against them, when they shall bind themselves in their two furrows. And Ephraim is as an heifer that is taught and lueth to tread out the corn. But I passed Orphan her fair neck. I will make Ephraim to ride, Judah shall plow, and Jacob shall break his clods. So to yourselves in righteousness, reap in mercy. Break VP your fallow ground, for it is time to seek the Lord, till he come and rain righteousness upon you. Ye how plowed wickedness, ye how reaped iniquity, ye how eaten the fruit of lies, because thou didst trust in thy way, in the multitude of thy mighty men. Therefore shall a tumult arise among thy people, and all thy fortresses shall be spoiled. As Shalman spoiled Beth Arbel in the day of Batel, the mother was dashed in pieces upon her children. So shall Bethel dove unto you, because of your great wickedness. In a morning shall the king of Israel be surely cut off.
Chapter 11. When Israel was a child, then I lured him, and called my son out of Egypt. As they called them, so they went from them. They sacrificed unto Baalim, and burnt incense to graven images. I taught Ephraim also to go, taking them by their arms, but they knew not that I healed them. I drew them with cords of a man, with bands of lue. And I was to them as they that take off the yoke on their eyes, and I laid meat unto them.
He shall not return into the land of Egypt, but the Assyrian shall be his king, because they refused to return. And the sword shall abide on his cities, and shall consume his branches, endure them, because of their own counsels. And my people are bent to backsliding from me, though they called them to the Most High. None at all would exalt him. How shall I do thee VP, Ephraim? How shall I deliver thee, Israel? How shall I make thee as Edmah? How shall I set thee as Zeboim? Mine heart is turned within me, my repentings are kindled together. I will not execute the fierceness of mine anger. I will not return to destroy Ephraim, for I am God, and not man, the Holy One in the midst of thee, and I will not enter into the city. They shall walk after the Lord. He shall roar like a lion. When he shall roar, then the children shall tremble from the west. They shall tremble as a bird out of Egypt, and as a doe out of the land of Assyria. And I will place them in their houses, saith the Lord. Ephraim compasseth me about with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah yet ruleth with God, and is faithful with the saints.
Chapter 12. Ephraim feedeth on wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. The Lord hath also a controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings will he recompense him.
He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Yea, he had power over the angel and prevailed. He wept and made supplication unto him. He found him in Bethel, and there he spake with verses. Even the Lord God of hosts, the Lord is his memorial. Therefore turn thou to thy God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually.
He is a merchant, the balances of deceit are in his hand. He lueth to oppress. And Ephraim said, Yet I am become rich, I have found me out substance. In all my labors they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. And I that am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt, will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles, as in the days of the solemn feast. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and said similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Is there iniquity in Gilead? Surely they are vanity, they sacrifice bullocks in Gilgal, their altars are as heaps in the furrows of the fields. And Jacob fled into the country of Syria, and Israel surreyed for a wife, and for a wife he kept sheep. And by a prophet the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. Ephraim provoked him to anger most bitterly, therefore shall he lay his blood upon him, and his reproach shall his Lord return unto him.